Hello, future coders! Astronaut B here, and before we venture out on our exhilarating space missions, let's equip ourselves with some coding knowledge. Ever thought of having your personal robot assistant in space that can fetch you cosmic data or even make you a space coffee? Well, functions that return a value are just like those robots. They don't just do their tasks, but also whisper crucial space secrets. Ready to decode these messages and command your own space assistant? Let's dive deep into the universe of coding. Imagine you're asking a space computer, how far is the nearest planet? The computer calculates the distance and then tells or returns the answer to you. Thanks, computer. When we do this, we are sending an input to the computer in the form of a question, and then we are getting output in the form of the answer to that question. Let's take a look at an example of this process in action using code. Here we have a function called calculateDistance. This function accepts the names of two stars and returns the distance between them. When we call this function, we need a place to store the answer that is returned to us. If not, the answer would just, well, float off into space, and we wouldn't be able to use it again later. But since we stored it in a variable, we can use this information in future calculations. So if we make a variable called distance and set that to get the value of the function will now store that answer in our distance variable. Functions that return a value help you make code that is easier to understand, debug, and reuse. They are like mini variables in the code that provide you with helpful information. Now that we're equipped with this knowledge, we can use it to help us in our next few programming tasks. Oh, I've just received a report that the trees we have planted on our new planet are doing really well. In our next task, we're going to continue to grow our forest by planting different types of trees.
We have seeds of a few different types of trees: alder, ash, beech, basswood, maple, palm, pine, apple, plum, orange, peach, cherry, and lemon. To plant them, we'll use the plant type function. The goal of the first few tasks is to plant different trees on individual plots of land. To move between these plots, use the go right and go left commands. In later tasks, though, we will be caring for trees that are already planted. In this task, we will move between our trees, and we will use the function called getTreeType to determine what tree we are currently about to water. Since this function returns the name of the tree type as its value, we can store that in a variable. We can then use that variable to determine that specific tree's water requirement so that we water it the correct amount. Pause the video here and give these tree watering tasks a try.
Our ship's radar has just detected an ancient interstellar treasure map leading to a cosmic cave below the planet's surface. Since we are unable to go into the cave ourselves, we will be sending in a retrieval robot to find the treasure. To navigate the cave, our robot will use the measure distance direction function. This tool tells us how far the next wall is in any given direction. Each time we move, we must measure the distance to move so that we don't hit the wall. We will store these distances in a variable so that we can use them as the input for the move function. In a later task, we will need these saved distances in order to get back to the start position and retrieve the treasure. Now you can give it a try. Pause the video here and open up your code editor and try the tasks with the title Treasure Hunt now. And there we have it. We've completed our missions using the power of functions that return a value. We've planted a thriving mini forest and discovered hidden treasure, all thanks to programming. Remember, functions that return a value are like mini consultants in your code. They do some work and provide you with information you can use later. Now, you might be wondering how this applies to other coding projects or even real-life scenarios. Well, the applications are limitless. From calculating distances for self-driving cars to predicting weather for farmers, functions that return a value are everywhere. Be sure to complete the programming tasks, practice questions, and extension activities before moving on to the next lesson. Remember, in the universe of coding, the possibilities are infinite. I'll see you next time.